Hello there, friends, and welcome to art class. Today, what we're going to do, we're going to kind of build on what we did last week. So we're kind of learning about the environment, but also being creative through our art. So last week we talked about an animal and their environment. Today, we're going to focus down on a plant. We're going to look at all the different things that make a plant, and you're going to design your own plant. So you get to be a little bit creative and fun with this, while also learning a little bit of cool science stuff, because science is awesome. So we look outside and all the plants are so different, but there are actually things that they have in common, which is pretty interesting. So plants have a fruit, they have a flower, they have leaves and seeds and roots. Okay, and this is kind of showing those. They also, most of them have a stem, but we're going to focus on these things here. And you get to design your own plant. So the first thing that stands out to me is a fruit and the seeds, all right? Generally, a fruit is kind of a fleshy type thing that surrounds the seeds. Now, a fruit doesn't have to necessarily be like a banana or an apple. Plants have all different types of things that are considered a fruit. It's really just kind of the thing that is holding in the seeds. All right, so you don't have to think of it like a fruit, like an orange or a banana, right? The fruit can be a little bit different than that. Like if you think about a little seed pod that falls down from a tree, like the little helicopter things, that could be the fruit from the plant, right? They have a flower, right? The flower is the part that opens up, and then that's how they reproduce, and different animals can pollinate and stuff like that. They have the leaves, which help soak up the sunlight. The stem holds the plant up, and then the roots go into the ground. All right, so you can get super creative with what you do here. Over here, I gave an example of a plant that somebody designed, and this is showing us not only the fruit and the flower, but they have a little diagram that opens up and shows what the seeds look like inside. And I like this one because it's self-similar. A lot of plants have something called self-similarity, where the different parts look like each other, which is kind of interesting. Like here, the heart seeds look like the heart flower. A lot of times the self-similarity comes from, if we look at these roots here, those look kind of like the branches of a plant, don't they? Right? And then the little cells in the leaves also have that same look. So that's self-similarity. That's a fun thing that you can use if you want. So I'm going to design a plant here. You can go ahead and draw along with me, or you can just watch and you can draw after I'm done. And, oh yeah, and then this little picture right over here, this is just to show you just some design elements. Like, remember, this is art, so you can have a little fun with it and get a little wacky and make it kind of fun and crazy and put some cool patterns and stuff like that. So don't think of this just as a science drawing, but also a cool piece of art. All right, so I'm going to take up this space here. Whoops, what did I just do? And I'm going to come up with a plant. I haven't really planned this out at all. I'm just making it up as I go. So my plant, I'm going to start with the stem. And this is going to be kind of a viney plant. All right, so it's going to have, the stem is going to have different parts that come off like this. Cool. And actually, let me show you something that I learned about plants. So there's different types of like leaf structures, which I think is pretty interesting. So like there's some leaves, like if you think about a tree and the branch and the leaves coming off, the leaves come together like that and the sticks come together. So they come out of the same spot. You see how that works? And then there's plants that alternate. So instead of one coming right here, it's going to go up a little bit like this. You see the difference there? And then the leaves will also do that. Instead of coming out of the same spot, they alternate like that. That's just kind of an interesting, fun little thing. So if you look at a plant outside, you can see what type of plant it is. Okay, so mine is alternating, right? They're not coming out of the same point. They're kind of like coming one after another. And I'm having fun with the lines and kind of, thinking about the art of it and thinking about making something fun. Almost like I'm doodling a little design while also making it a plant, right? And then I like to make the branches get kind of smaller and smaller as they go out, right? So it's kind of bigger down here, and as it goes further down the plant, they get a little smaller and smaller. It's fun. I like to draw these kind of shapes anyway, so this is fun for me. And then, oh yes, the root system is going to be very similar. I'm going to add the root system here and what that looks like. And the root system sprawls out just as far as the plant. It's like a whole secret life that it has underground. All right, so I've got my stem. Now I'm going to want to add some leaves. I'm going to choose a different color just to make the leaves look a little different. And I'm going to think about how I want to do my leaves. Some leaves have jagged edges. You know, some leaves are smooth. There's all different types of leaves. Like if you look at a tree leaf, some leaves look like this. They have jagged edges like this, right? Some leaves might have 3 different parts. Like this would be like a maple leaf, kind of looks like this, right? Some leaves might be just completely smooth. There's lots of different types of leaves. And then the leaves also have kind of these little veins on them, which kind of look like the branches because they go out and then those parts branch off and those parts branch off, right? I find plants to be very interesting and fun to look at and learn about how they work. So my leaves are just going to be little alternating little things like this. Just cute little simple leaves for my plant. But you can get really creative with this. Like there are actually carnivorous plants. Does anybody know what carnivorous means? So if we think of carnivore, that is something that eats meat, right? As opposed to an herbivore, which eats plants. So there are actually plants that eat meat. Isn't that crazy? So like, for instance, a Venus flytrap has a little mouth, and it catches flies and eats the flies. How about that, huh? So you can make a plant that has a mouth or a face. I don't know. You can get a little imaginative with it if you want to. It doesn't have to be totally realistic. I'm making sure the leaves are evenly dispersed because plants are very nice and neat and even like that. That looks kind of neat. All right, and then I'm going to think about some fruits and some flowers. First, I'll start with flowers. My flowers are going to be on these little ends of the branches, and they're going to have petals that look like that. And I believe these are called stamens. I'm not 100% sure on that. I should know that, but I'm not sure. But those are like the little parts that hold the pollen. And that's what my flowers look like. Now remember, don't copy mine exactly. The point of this is to be creative and try to come up with something new. So see what you can come up with, because you're all very creative. You have your own awesome ideas. That's what this is all about, is stretching out your creativity and using your ideas. If I wanted you to just copy something else, I'd probably just, show you a dandelion and say, here, draw this dandelion. But I want you to come up with your own ideas. So just make sure you're not copying mine as you go. Okay, and you know what? I'm going to remember that, the roots of the plant are going to look a little different. So I'm going to give them a little bit of a brown tone because the roots do, they have a similar shape, but they're not exactly the same as the stem. I want to make sure that someone looking at my picture knows, okay, here's the roots, and they're a little bit different. Now, what am I missing? Can you tell what I'm missing here? Let's see, we got flowers, we got leaves, we've got roots and a stem. We need fruits and seeds. Okay, so this is a really interesting, fun part. I'm going to have a little bit of fun with these. I'm going to make, let's see. Okay, so my fruits are like these little brown, kind of they hang down like this. And they look like that. Okay, that's what my fruits look like. But I'm going to also show how the seeds work, okay? So these little fruits hold the seeds inside, okay? So even if you think about an orange has little seeds inside. And you're going to think about, how does this plant get its seeds out there? How does it get them around? Because if you say you have an orange, the way that works is, well, we really like oranges, so we pick them off the tree. Humans pick them off the tree, we open them up, we eat the fruit, and we throw the seeds down because we don't want to eat the seeds, right? And then those seeds get scattered around on the ground. So a lot of times animals scatter the seeds. Some plants, like my plant, it's going to scatter its seeds on its own. So these little things, when they dry out, they kind of open up. And you can see this, what comes out of my plant is a long, stringy, puffy thing. So a lot of times you'll see little puffy things flying through the air in the springtime, and they might land in your hair or something, or even like a dandelion, we blow on them and they blow away. Those are the seeds, and that's how the wind carries those seeds. So mine has windy seeds. So it's got this fluffy part and little teeny seeds inside of it. And this is a long puffy thing that blows in the wind. I don't think I've ever seen something like that. That's like a long piece kind of twirling in the wind. I think that would be really interesting. So that's how my seeds are going to work, okay? Very cool. That's kind of interesting. So that's how I designed my plant. Yours could look a little different. Yours could be a little more like this, like a fun design kind of thing, or more scientific, where you're pointing out the different parts and writing about it. You can do it the way that you want to do it. I also, I could spend a lot more time on this. Like maybe I want to take some colored pencils and I could color. Oh, I got to sharpen this up real quick. I could probably spend some time coloring in my leaves, things like this. I could add some grass. I could even add some animals in there. Like, maybe I have a certain animal that's going to pollinate these. Maybe I'm going to make up my own insect that pollinates and goes from plant to plant, spreading the pollen and everything, right? So you can add lots of details to your picture and have a lot of fun with it, all right? And if you enjoy making a plant, make up some other plants. And then maybe go outside and look at some plants and look for these things that we talked about. It's kind of fun to look at plants, and now that you know a little bit more about them, and be like, where's the seed of this plant? Where's the fruit of this plant? Because you'll find it. All right, everyone, take care. I hope you're doing all right out there. You can feel free to send me some pictures of your plants. I'd love to see what you come up with, and maybe put them in an online art gallery for other students to see, okay? Well, take care, keep making art, and have fun out there. Bye-bye.